Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Lasham Daily Briefing, Sunday, the 24th of March, 2024. So if we start off with the synoptic situation, and this was based at midnight last night, and we can see the dregs of this low front that's now shot off towards Northern Europe, and the associated frontal systems that were attached to it. They've drifted now off to the west, and we're left in a reasonably slack, unstable northwesterly airflow between the two frontal systems. The weather associated with this warm front will be relevant. I'll share a little bit later, and it may affect how far we can actually go away from the site. There are some troughs behind this. It's not going to affect us today, but looking forward to tomorrow, we are looking at probably an overcast day tomorrow, and on Monday, Sunday and Tuesday, even worse. Looking at that cold front sat right over the field. Anyway, let's get back on to today. Spot winds today are indicating northwesterly winds at about 20 knots, fairly brisk. Cloud, we see we've got the dregs of the occluded front over to east. We've got the advancing warm front over to the west, but we are left in a reasonable layer in the middle. Notice the wave. There's a little bit of wave in Wales sort of area. I don't think it'll affect us this far south. However, we are going to get quite a bit of overcast over there, so it may stand out in amongst the overcast, perhaps, if you end up that way. Rain-wise, there's no real rain associated with where we are at the moment. We've clearly got the rain associated with that warm front later, and there may be some possibility of the odd, very small shower drifting through, which I'd suggest you'd be able to whiz round should you need to. So 10:15 today, if I run through the actual rain forecast, you can see pretty well it's expected to be dry here throughout the day. There's the odd small shower here and there, but I don't think anything that's going to be a significant feature. Okay, local forecast is slightly different to what I'd expect. It's indicating overcast and rain actually till about 1 o'clock, which clearly we haven't got at the moment. West-northwest winds 10 knots. Gusting 20 knots or thereabouts. Very, very good visibility after that weather went through yesterday. Relatively low humidity. Temperatures could be an issue though. It's going to be pretty low temperature all day. Notice 9, feeling more like 5 with the wind chill. GFS is indicating max temperature today of 10 with a dew point down at 3. View outside the window at the moment, Eggs has just taken off on his way down to Bognor, and I think he sort of went through this lower stuff at around about 1,200 foot at the moment, so it's not that high. Clearly it's going to increase with height. Actual weather at Lasham at the moment, 6.2 with a dew point down at 3.2. But if we actually look at winds, this is the interesting winds we had yesterday when we had all that hail. And you notice at the moment we just had a gust earlier, about 8 o'clock, about 22 knots. Gusts will possibly be a factor later on, but we're talking about mean winds around about 15 knots. Odium indicated today 16 knots from the west, 81% humidity. Pressure slowly on the rise, I think. And Farnborough is very similar, as in 10 knots from the west, 10k or more, with a forecast of scattered clouds at about 3,000 feet. Temporarily between 9 and 3 today, 15 knots with gusts of 26. So they're the gusts I was talking about earlier, may possibly be a factor on the ground. Top Meteo, this is for 12 o'clock today. They're indicating 1,200 meter thermals, cumulus, running through the day. They're talking about 1,500 meters a bit later on, and then it cuts off quite quickly as that weather comes in, that warm front hits us a bit later. Excuse me. I think the problem we're going to have today might be the overcast. We'll talk about that in a minute. And this is the top meteo, best area to fly today, really, and it'll give us 70 to 80 knot kph task for an 18-meter glider. So this again is 12 o'clock, but as I run it forward, you'll notice it very rapidly starts to decay. So this is 3 o'clock this afternoon, and I think that's probably going to be associated with the overdevelopment we're going to get. Sky sight is indicating a similar sort of thermal heights. Cloud base around about 3.8, 3.9, something like that at 2 o'clock. But I think the thing to watch out for really is the overdevelopment, as you can see. where the overdevelopment is, the cloud base is going down to about 3,000 feet. So that, coupled with the 3 knot thermals, coupled with the 20-25 knot operating wind, might cause you a challenge. But I'm sure if there's a chance of anything, someone will do it. No-town wise, standard western on the green. We've got some shooting down. 18 has got some outdoor small range, surface to 950 feet, shouldn't necessarily be a factor. And if I run through to the other one, which is number 16, I think, down here, that's at Sandhurst, surface to 1,100 feet. They're doing some firing. Although this does say 20th, 25th to 26th, I think we'll probably be okay. Okay, then operationally today, depending on how many people we do have come out, we're going to set up on runway 27. We do have a movement, which I'll mention in a minute, which is why we can't really have a club grid on the runway, because it's going to be a pretty awkward time. So we'll set up for a standard gliding club operation, launch point on the south side of the runway, airtime to the north, landing grass north and south, that's fine. If we do have enthusiasm for a club grid, we'll have it on the grass north, and we'll probably start launching that, I would suggest, after the movement. And the wind is going to be just north of west. As I mentioned earlier, some gusts perhaps of up to 26 knots. So that movement then got an EasyJet coming in. It's expected arrival time 11:16. Today we do have the TJ Memorial, which is going to be in the clubhouse from 2 o'clock onwards for those that want to attend. We'll set up on runway 27. The club grid grid set up on the grass south, as mentioned. If there are any, I've just been out and walked it. It is pretty solid out there, but I guess any really heavy gliders might want to consider just parking on the lazy runway, and we'll just pull them out onto the runway and tow them off the runway if required. West northerly winds 15 knots with a gust of 26. 4K 21s, 2K 13s available. 776 requires rigging. I'm sure Dave Williams will buy you a beer and tell you the story about why that needs rigging this morning. Single seaters, SH6, 3 and 4, full flying list. A word of caution, the fields are very wet out there. So if you do have to land out, just expect to be a very, very wet field, unless it's an airfield or grass airfield of some kind. So just be aware about that. And of course, the simulators, as ever, is always available. So that's it. I'll get the kit set up on runway 27, and I look forward to seeing you all shortly. Bye.